Alright, welcome back to Hawkeye Speaks. So, got a question for you. Is nature alive? Might seem obvious in some ways, but it's an important question to consider because we are living in a time in which the fundamental baseline perspective about the world around us, nature, that informs science, that informs academia and governance, the way that things are done, the status quo is that nature is dead. Nature is not alive. Nature is matter, materials. This is just chemistry and elements. There's no life here. There's nothing else. That this thing, something special, is only something that exists inside of people and their creator, and everything else is dead. Well, of course, animals and plants are alive, and the whole thing's rather a strange topic. And look at you getting filthy again. And of course, to many people in this day and age would just simply think right off the bat that yes, of course, nature is alive. And some may even be familiar with the Gaia hypothesis, the Gaia theory. It's that scientifically explains how the Earth is not a living being, but a living system. Yeah, the round Earth. And yeah, a lot of people may answer that question if I propose it again. Is nature alive? They may kind of default say, oh, of course. But again, you've got to realize that the default way that our system works today is founded on the entire basis that nature is dead. So I really recommend that everyone checks out Rupert Sheldrake has put out a few recent talks, and he's getting pretty old. Who knows how many more talks he'll be putting out, but he obviously has wanted to share some more stuff. He's made a few videos about a few different things, and it's really it's cool just to listen to what the man has to say. Rupert Sheldrake. Hopefully everyone knows a little bit about him, and the science delusion, the 10 dogmatic lies of science, and morphic resonance. Memories are not stored in the brain, they're stored in the morphic fields, all types of stuff like that. But he has a recent talk. It's an interview by a man and a woman that have a podcast called something Psi, Intergalactic Psi, Higher Psi. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. But if you went on the YouTubes, the GooberTuber, and look at Rupert Sheldrake's channel and look at his recent videos, you'll see there's one talk of him with this couple, and he lays it down, this shift. And what it is it is a paradigm shift, which I think has actually already occurred within our lifetimes. We're all familiar with this idea, these terms about some type of enlightenment that was going to happen, or a mass raising of consciousness, or a shift, and all these. And some people really poo-poo these ideas like they're devil worshipping, and other people think that they're a good thing. But whatever you think about them, we're kind of familiar with these ideas of an ascension in consciousness. And then there's also, I don't know if anybody ever read Itzhak Bentov's books, Stalking the Wild Pendulum. Cool character there. He is really into evolutionary consciousness. The evolution of consciousness. And this kind of being what the whole Kundalini thing is about. And So if there is a progression in the thinking, the spirit, the soul of the people, the culture, the spirit, the soul, if that's a collective entity, as some great philosophers have proposed, is that maturing in a way, and has there actually already been a mass ascension, an awakening, a shift, a paradigm shift? And just to pause and shift subjects for a second, the whole thing with the soil, and soil is life, and realizing this trip about the soil, it really is a paradigm shift where you have to move away from this mentality, this thinking of kill and control, that you could kill all the things you don't want and control what you do want. And again, nature is a dead, inanimate object, and it's just there to be manipulated. You got to get away from that thinking and realize that it's a system, that it's all systems and systems within systems, and that they rely on each other. And you get to a point, for me, there's a lot of many teachers in the soil health, regenerative agriculture field that talk about this paradigm shift. For me, I was just actually thinking about this earlier today because I was watching a little talk by this guy in Hawaii named Drake, who's a Korean natural farming teacher. And this was back in about, I think it was 2018, could have been 2019. I think it was about 2018, maybe even 2017. It was when I started studying a bit more intensely. And there was a big aha moment that was really opened the door for me. And I was listening to this talk. It was an introduction to Korean natural farming, a video recording of a live lecture that this guy Drake was doing in Hawaii. And about halfway through the lecture, I had this aha moment. The big light bulb turned on, and I realized that this thing about microbes and soil and the whole deal about cultivating living solutions, material substances, cultivating the microbes in different ways and proliferating, propagating, the big light bulb moment was to realize, hey, this is not just about growing food. This is way more than growing food. This is everything. Every single choice we make in life either destroys or creates life, biological life. Everything we do. Nothing is static. So that was the real shift into the paradigm shift that opened a door for me. And again, I think that there already has been a mass ascension in consciousness in a lot of ways, but we haven't yet actually had the philosophers. The philosopher is somebody who's missing in today's times. People like me, but we ramble on and nobody wants to listen to it, But it takes people that are willing to look at what's going on in the world around and conceptualize and contextualize it, and then reformulate it in a way that people understand. And a lot of these things that I've realized in the past couple years, and I'll say this sometimes, it's obvious once it's said. Once I say it, it's obvious. But it's just funny that no one said it yet. And I think it takes the time to think about it and put the stuff together. And I didn't invent any of it. I mean, over in the shop, the wood shop, I've got great inventions. Maybe I'll show you sometime. Stuff that I myself came up with. But all the stuff about philosophy and science and soil and terrain, I just studied a lot and listened to other people. And to have taken the time living, you can hear how quiet and peaceful it is out here where I live. And just taking the time to process this stuff. But anyway, the little thought for today's talk here is just that I think the paradigm shift already has happened, but people don't realize it yet because people aren't saying what I've just said to you. Hey, is nature alive or not? And we have to make the choice. And if nature is dead, it's all up to the chemist. It's all up to physics. It's, the role of the philosopher is completely quashed by the physics and such and such. So, what's up, little fellas? Little sweeties? That's it. I do believe nature is alive. I think we need to shift the awareness by just simply talking about it a bit. And the idea, the philosophy, for me, is that the earth is not overpopulated. Humans are not a cancer on the earth. That the earth is a living system and we are part of it. We can be part of problems. Pollution and overcrowding can be problematic, but in the whole, humans are part of the solution. And that's my philosophy that I want to share all the time with young people, is that the earth is not overpopulated. You're not a cancer on the earth. The earth is a living system. You're part of the solution. And then again, this paradigm shift is larger in philosophy. If you study philosophy, go study all the philosophers. This is actually something that was kind of missing. Not too many great philosophers talked about food and our relationship to food, and not just food that we're eating, but the relationship of food, the larger relationships. How was it produced? How did that affect the land? How are the people growing it? How is all this working out? And that's the actual story of biology. Biological reality is always centered around food. The dynamo of life, the intentions of the organism and the needs of the environment that the organism is always eating. And when we accept this model of a dead environment, a dead world around us, when we don't contest it and say that the world is alive around us, we're also, it's part and parcel with the food picture, where we're going to accept pulling the box of food off the shelf. Food. You see, I don't advise eating anything in a box with the label on it with a list of ingredients, because it's not food. It's a dead, processed, packaged thing. It's part of the same mentality. You have to shift the entire thing. But no, I'm not going to allow my thinking, to be in the dead world. All right, over and out for now. Hawkeye speaks.